There are seasons in life you feel tired, but you do not know what to call that tiredness. You feel that everything around you is not right. Work is not going the way you hoped. Your relationships weigh heavily on your heart. Money brings pressure. Other people hurt you. Circumstances make you feel powerless. And then you begin to look at life as a chain of things working against you. You say, "It is because my family does not understand. It is because I did not meet the right person. It is because society is too harsh. It is because no one gave me a chance. It is because I was born in the wrong place. It is because life is too unfair. And all of that sounds reasonable. Sometimes it is true, because not everyone is born at the same starting line. Not everyone grows up under a roof healthy enough to call home. Not everyone goes through youth and is loved the right way. Not everyone who tries hard gets lucky. And not everyone who suffers is suffering because they are weak. Some people truly have gone through a lot. Very heavy things. Very dark things. Very lonely things. So you cannot just say something simple like, "Stop blaming," and think that solves it. No, things are not that simple. Because some wounds are real. Some forms of lack are real. Some disadvantages are real. Some circumstances, if you have never lived inside them, you will never understand how deeply they can crush a person. But there is another truth too. A hard one, a painful one, and one very few people wanted to face. That at some point, what keeps you where you are is no longer the circumstance itself. It is the way you keep telling the story of that circumstance. That means what makes you suffer is not only what happened, it is also the power you keep giving it in the present. You let the past stand in the middle of every decision. You let old wounds become the reason for every hesitation. You let one failure become proof that you will always fail. You let one person who once hurt you become the excuse for never opening your heart again. You let the lack of yesterday control the way you live today. And slowly, you are no longer just living inside a circumstance. You are living inside a sentence you quietly passed on yourself. That is what is frightening, because some cages are not built by others. You build them yourself, from the sentences repeated again and again in your mind, from the conclusions you reached too early, from the times you were hurt and never healed, from the times you failed and never understood it rightly, from the times you were left behind, and then came to believe that your life would always be the life of the one left behind. Some people live like that for years. They are no longer truly bound by others, and yet they still feel they cannot move. Not because life locked the door, but because they have believed for too long that they do not have the key. You can see this in so many people. Someone keeps saying they are hot-tempered because that is how their family was. Someone stays closed off because they were betrayed once. Someone never dares begin because they have failed before. Someone remains trapped in insecurity because their childhood was full of lack. Someone keeps waiting for others to change before they can live differently. On the surface, all of that makes sense, but if you look deeper, you will see something. The original reason may be true, but when it is held for too long, it is no longer an explanation. It becomes a prison. There's a very big difference between understanding why you hurt and making that hurt your identity, between acknowledging that circumstance affected you and letting circumstance decide who you will become, between admitting you were wounded and turning that wound into a shelter so you never have to change. Many people do not realize this. They think they are only being honest. They think they are only telling the truth about their life. But in truth, every time they tell that story, they drive the nails deeper into the old version of themselves, the version that was powerless, that lacked, that was treated badly, that was not chosen, that failed, and they forget. A wound is something that happened, but an identity is something we choose to keep. Maybe circumstance pushed you down. That is true. Maybe someone really broke you. That is true. Maybe your childhood was unfair. That is true. Maybe you were never given the basic things you needed to grow whole. That is true. But then what? The most painful question is not, who did this to me, but after all of that, how am I going to live now? This is where very few people dare to stand still. Because once you look this far, you are no longer only the victim, you become the one responsible for the rest of your life. And responsibility is not easy. Blame is always easier, much easier. Blame your family. Blame your ex. Blame money, blame the times. Blame what you did not have. Blame the unfairness. Because as long as you are blaming, you get to keep one thing, your innocence. You get to say, I am like this and it is not my fault. I have not made it there and it is not because of me. I suffer like this because life forced me into it. And that sounds light, but in truth, it is very heavy. Because in the very moment you say that, you are handing the steering wheel of your life to something else. To the past. To other people. To circumstance. Two things you cannot control. And when the wheel is no longer in your hands, then no matter how much you hurt, you cannot go anywhere. There is a quiet sadness in watching someone know that their life is not right. Know that they are stuck. Know that they need to change and still do nothing. They simply go on telling the story of what made them become who they are now, telling the story of the one who hurt them, telling the story of the place that was unfair to them, telling the story of the fate that was too harsh, telling it again and again. Until that story becomes the only place that still feels familiar. And then, they are not only trapped in suffering, they are trapped in the story of their suffering. That is the frightening part, not who hurt them, but that after so many years, they still use that pain as the reason not to live differently. Some people do not realize it. They think they are protecting themselves, but really they are protecting the wound. They keep it, feed it, repeat it, place it before every choice, and call it the truth about who they are. But no doubt the truth about you is not only what hurt you. The truth about you is also your ability to stand up after pain. It is the way you come to understand yourself again. It is whether or not you dare stop letting old circumstances write the rest of your life for you. Maybe today you are still angry. Angry because of what you never received. Angry because of the people who were not kind. Angry because life did not give you a gentle enough beginning. And that is not wrong. That anger has a reason. But if you stay with it too long, it stops being a reaction. It becomes a nature. It becomes the lens through which you see everything. And then, even when opportunity comes, you do not believe it. Even when good people step into your life, you doubt them. Even when a door opens, you do not dare walk through it. Not because life did not give, but because you became too used to living in the position of the one who was deprived. Maybe the deepest pain of a person is not that they once fell, but that after that, they began to love the feeling of being a victim. Because they do not have to change. Do not have to move forward. Do not have to risk. Do not have to take responsibility. They only have to say, I am like this because, and that sentence, at first sounds very reasonable. But if it is repeated too many times, it quietly kills inner strength, kills the power to choose, kills the belief that you still can become different. So the moment a person begins to awaken is not when life suddenly becomes easier, not when circumstance turns beautiful, not when people suddenly become kinder. It is when they begin to look very deeply into their suffering and ask one very honest question. Since when did I give so much power over my life to things outside me? That is not a comfortable question. It makes you fall silent. Because from here, you are no longer only allowed to be sad. You now have to begin seeing your own responsibility in the way you are living. And that is the first pain point. But it is also the first door, the one that leads a person out of old darkness.